of sales for sales that are driven through the ambassador store. This is an ambassador's individual store co-branded with the brand. The ambassador controls the display of the products. The ambassador controls which brands they work with. Let me take this full screen. So ambassador sales plus these trusted relationships, we believe, will equal exponential sales growth. Why do we know this, or why do we believe this? We've been in e-commerce for 20 years. I built the original MWRC internet sales platform, which is the foundation code for Exovend. My partners have been in the business with me for 6 years, 10 years, and 20 years respectively. And on top of that, our advisor on our board is Russ Lesser, who is the president of Body Glove International, who has been in retail and brand e-commerce for 35 years. Our target customer is the Fortune 1 million, what we call aspirational brands. Our target brands' annual sales are in the range of $1 to $50 million. And we are seeing a projected small, medium business e-commerce to 476 billion by 2024. Our average estimated projected sales revenue is $25,000 to $50,000 per client. We will be selling by direct sales. That means outbound calls to CEOs, to CMOs, to sales executives, to marketing executives at brands. Brands are our client. We're totally brand focused. We're not focused to retail. We're focused on brands. We will do inbound social media marketing. We'll do sponsored ads. We'll do Instagram stories, etc. And we will use our own model. We will reward clients for referring other clients to us. Our monthly subscription starts at $500 per month for 1,000 transactions per year. That looks steep, but when you think about it, it's actually quite inexpensive when it's compared to other kinds of advertising and customer acquisition. However, we expect that most of our brands are going to be in the 1,000 to, are going to be above 1,000 transactions per year.
It's 30 seconds, okay?
Okay, got it. Thank you. We expect that in 5 years we'll be at $28 million in revenue. We are looking for $750,000 in Series A for a pre-money valuation of $3 million for 20% of the business. We expect to use that for marketing and development. Thank you.
All right, that's it. All right, if you have questions for the panelists, unmute yourself, raise your hand, we'll go in the order. So Minda, first question.
I'd like to know, yes, I'd like to know a little bit about the technology in terms of how the catalog is presented and how checkout occurs, how much engagement you have. Do people actually go from the co-branded app over to the brand's website to check out? Tell me a little bit about how that journey works.
That actually runs on our servers. Let me get you to that.
In order to, this is very quick. I don't think you should do this. Just answer the questions fast.
Okay, well, yeah, it's all right. It's run on our servers. We have a complete back end that the client has access to. They add their products, they add their pricing, they manage everything on their end. This runs in parallel with other e-commerce systems they may have. We can export orders directly into most other e-commerce platforms.
Okay, Max Shapiro.
I think I saw, Mark, that you said in the 4th or 5th year, the EBITDA is going to be $2 million. How the hell are investors going to make money if that's your projection? It doesn't float my boat. Talk about the exit and how we might make money, please.
That's monthly recurring revenue, $2.1 million.
Oh, it's monthly
recurring revenue.
That was not an annual figure.
That's not an annual. The annual is 28.7 million in revenue.
Right, and but the EBITDA is what? I thought ballpark.
I'm gonna ballpark that at about 10 million.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Tony Caramango.
Caravaggio.
Sorry.
It's okay. Just like filet mignon, the GN in Italian is gnocchi. Mark, can you go to your market estimations real quick, please?
Say again, please. I'm sorry.
Your market slide, your market estimations.
Market estimations are, well, there are, so I'm sorry, there's $376 billion in annual e-commerce retail sales in the United States in small to medium businesses alone as of right now. We expect to see for another $100 billion in that market within the next 5 years. We deal with small to medium sized businesses in the $1 to $50 million annual sales range. There are tens of thousands of those businesses in the United States, and there are hundreds, well, I wouldn't say tens of thousands of brands, but there are at least 1,500 brands that we know directly that we can talk to.
What's the growth rate? You said there was a number out there to 2024. What's your growth rate that you're computing?
In the overall market, it's a $100 billion increase between 376 to 476 between now and 2024. That's the overall market. What it means to us, I think it means that it's wide open for us. I think that people need our technology. I think they need our platform.
All right. We're going to go to Catherine, Don, and Sanjay. Catherine?
Hi. What did MWRC do? What revenue levels did it achieve? And how does that business inform A3's business aspirations?
MWRC had a real big problem. One was...
Tell us what it did first.
And you only and answer real short, Mark.
MWRC was an e-commerce platform specifically for brands to share revenue with retailers and retail sales going through the brand rather than through the retailer. The consumer would go to the brand's website, buy a product, and in the process, they would select a retailer who would participate in that sale. That gave us the foundation code for what we've developed here. The problem with MWRC was that it was a percentage of sales model, which meant that we were dependent on the success of our clients. We had successful clients, but we were constantly going through a churn problem because they would get to a point where they would be successful and then leave us because they would build their own system.
Okay.
My question was, what did it do? How does it inform your A3 business aspirations? And what revenue levels did you achieve?
We achieved $30 million over 10 years.
30 seconds.
All right.
Don?
Don Castle?
Thank you. I had to unmute. How are you going to get the influencers? How do you identify them, knowing the right influencer with the right product?
Influencers are the brand's responsibility, acquiring them. We have a platform that lets the influencers apply to the brand for the brand's approval. The brand has to approve of the influencer based on certain factors that they establish.
All right. We're out of time, but I'd like to be able to do the following. If you can, all the people, the participants, please vote. As you vote, I'm going to let Sanjay ask a question, and then we'll pick up the next one. Sanjay, and please make the answer short, the question short.
Yeah, just a quick question, Mark. Is the business model validated as of today? And
yes, yes, we have signed our first client. We're live. It is working.
Okay, and second is why wouldn't a Shopify or a WooCommerce get in this game?
The revenue share complication is difficult to build. That's why. It requires a lot more focus on the brand relationship to the influencer, to the retailer. There's 4 levels of compensation capability in this.
We have to stop. I'm sorry.
All right, that's it. We're done. Sorry.
Delphire, please raise your hand so we could put you in. Matthew Smiley. Okay. And Gilbert. Okay, here we go. And Gilbert. All right, share your screen, please.
Hi, can you see and hear me?
We can.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Let me-
5 minutes.
Can you see my presentation?
Start the timer.
Yep.
All right. Here we are. Okay. Hi, I'm Matt Smalley with Delphire, and we're here to modernize the way that we deal with fires. We, along with our prospective customers, believe that real-time data can save lives and minimize damages. Because of this, we've designed solutions that can help to prevent and contain wildfires before they grow out of control. The two markets we're targeting here have a combined value of over $200 million. See, power transmission companies are legally and financially responsible for the many fires they cause, so prevention is critical for them. Additionally, identical monitoring technology can enable faster, safer, and more effective firefighting decisions. Currently, both markets rely on verbal information for fire detection and tracking, with inherent lags of 15 to 30 minutes. Aerial monitoring and inspections are infrequently used because they're costly, battery limited, and lack key data. So how can this be made better? Well, interviews and reports from both these markets made it clear that they need a way to collect real-time data over a period of days. A lag of 15 to 30 minutes can allow winds to change direction, causing flames to overtake an escaping firefighter. And in the case of PG&E's infamous campfire, a 30-minute lag was enough for it to overtake the two towns that it completely destroyed. Additionally, existing techniques don't provide actionable ground data. Now, why is this relevant? Local weather tells firefighters where a fire is moving, and power companies need to know if they caused a fire or if it was a lightning strike, like in this picture. But our patented oracles of Delphire can address these needs. These devices allow for remote monitoring of real-time IR temperature, video, and relevant weather data. Power companies will want to mount these units on power lines to watch for fires and key risk conditions. Firefighters can deploy these along a fire break so that they can know the moment the fire slops over and either put it out or evacuate. Live data can be remotely viewed from individual units or as a summary of your network as a whole. Because the data is pushed to a web server, it can be easily shared and then plugged into existing predictive software and tracking tools. All this allows for better use of resources, so firefighters stay safer, fires stay smaller, and power companies don't have to pay billions in damages. Plus, Delphire's oracles are cost-effective in small deployments and are reusable, so they scale up better than any other method currently on the market. And at $3,500 a unit, installing oracles runs as much as just 2 helicopter inspections. But these devices provide continuous data. For our beachhead firefighting and follow-up power line markets, monetization would come through product sales, as well as subscriptions for data transfer, storage, and/or analysis software. We also see potential in the residential fire security market, but it's a stretch goal, so we can talk about it later. Now, you may be asking, why are we the right team? We bring the necessary technical capabilities, a strong granted patent, a growing IP portfolio, market understanding, and a solid yet growing network of entrepreneurial and commercial connections built from our past experiences, as well as mentors we've met through competitions, I-Corps, and the like. We also have a working prototype of the sensor package. We're currently fitting it into a deployable mount and working with X2NSAT to integrate satellite and cellular communication boards for a planned field test this month. Right now, we're bootstrapping our MVP, expanding our patent portfolio, and conducting additional market research as part of the NSF I-Corps program at CSUN. Soon, we hope to start working on a more advanced prototype that we can eventually beta test with local fire departments. And once that's refined, we can begin early sales, and then use the profit and credibility we generate to expand and enter new markets. Now, this is a fundraising schedule that we're looking to raise, and very roughly what it'll be used for. These funds can come from equity, grants, or other sources, and we're happy to discuss them in more detail if you like. So, if you're interested in fast-tracking a promising team that is addressing large and important markets while also protecting people's lives and their homes, then I would encourage you to consider fighting fire with Delphire. Thank you,
All right,
and we're
very
happy
good.
to take
You
it.
actually had a few seconds
Good
left
timing.
over, so
Yeah.
we'll put that into the Q&A. Go to Praetorian, and I don't know who what the name though, and then Jeff Koenig.
Good afternoon. Yes, Kerry Ortiz here. Thank you so much, Matthew. Great job. Quick question.
Thank you.
Regarding your sales, what's the typical sales timeline? What does that look like? And to whom might be your ideal client?
So for the fire departments, we're estimating that our sales will start off small because, again, we're in an early phase. But we're thinking that by attending events trade shows, we can be hitting hundreds of departments at a time with about 4 units each, and about a month to be delivering those very safely if we were starting from scratch.
About 3 years out, we're looking in the 1,000, and 4 years out in the 6,000 range of units.
And the sales timeline for a typical transaction?
A couple of weeks.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
I think we don't know at this point.
All right.
We'll
We're
figure it
gonna
out.
go to Jeff, then Tony, then Matt. Jeff?
Yeah, a quick question about competitive threats. Why wouldn't satellite technology, which is marvelous in its resolution and all the things it can detect, not be a far better solution without a lot of hardware all over the place that's difficult to maintain and work?
Fantastic question. So there are satellites do have great resolution, but not great enough to catch spreading events like embers as well as flaming critters. And they also miss local weather data, which is really important for assessing risk and preventing the fire on the power line end and knowing where it's going to go next on the firefighter end.
Okay. Matt, I'm sorry, Tony, then Matt.
Quick question. So the reason why these fires happen, I happen to know a little bit about this, is heat expands the power lines touch down and they touch the grass and start fires. Will the technology also monitor that sort of issue where the lines expand and touch down?
So the great thing about technology is that we can monitor the power line and see exactly where you have the threats before they even happen ideally, or if they do happen, we can assign the fault to either the power line itself, or if you have a lightning strike near it, since it's real-time video being relayed whenever you see any type of event like a power line sag, the power company will have all of that stored on their servers to either prove that they had sag but did not start the fire, because you could have all these different conditions that you want to be able to differentiate.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I'm going to go to Matt and then Catherine and then Max if we have time.
What exactly is the issued patent for?
So the granted patent is for deployable devices that are used to monitor wildfires. So it fits perfectly into the firefighting market, and we have other pending patents expanding it to affect the power line market as well.
Okay. We're going to go to Catherine and then Max.
If you are participating in ICOR, you know the importance of market research. Can you tell us what research you have done among your targeted potential customers?
Yeah. So far we've talked to about a dozen firefighters, and we've talked to a couple people over at power companies, but we're talking to more of them right now as we are in the ICOR program. And it is an area that we are absolutely digging further into because it is critical.
Well, okay, but what have you found?
We've found essentially what we said earlier, that they need a way to prove that power companies need to prove that they didn't cause the fire, or to identify it as soon as it happens, so that they only pay damages for 1 acre of burn rather than destroying multiple towns. And then firefighters need something that can watch an area for an extended period of time, where drones and other methods just can't do that. And fire drones and satellites, they don't get close enough, they don't get on the ground information that they need.
All right, we're going to go to Matt, and then if we have time, Max, and then Matt if we have time. Max?
Yeah, follow up to Kathy's question, and I love your enthusiasm, Matt. You're obviously very early, but on the market research, have you run your financial model past these firemen that you've spoken to? It doesn't sound like you've spoken to big fire departments. Have you
30 seconds left.
Do you know how much money they will pay you? Have you talked to them about that?
A little bit, but not as much as we'd like. It's comparable to it's less than what they pay for drones right now. but it is something that we are looking into further.
Thank you.
All right. And Matt, you can ask a very quick question, and as you do, then let's take out our, go to the F6S
Passed it.
panel and vote.
I passed it.
Are you passed? All right.
All right. Okay. The next presenter, please raise your hand, which is Everything Food.
Hey, JJ, this is Kathy Chu. I'm having I don't know if other people have the same problem. I'm having a hell of a time trying to access the judging panel.
Yes, I
as
can't
in
access.
page
Yeah,
down.
I'm having a problem too. It's
Me
Sandra.
too.
And it's very
Me too.
distracting to me in trying to listen to the next pitch.
All right, so
Catherine, this is Sanjay. So it was like that, but click on that email link that JJ sent where he says, here is a concise list of all the companies. And in there, it's very easy then to track these companies. So do that. Go back to JJ's email.
so I sent an email at 8:30 this morning Pacific time, and it has the link.
Oh, you did.
Each company.
Hmm.
Each company has one link, and then all you have to do is click on that link, and it will take you directly to that company.
Did that?
And
That
then
was
when
a
you're,
problem.
and then when you're,
Yes, me too. That's a problem for Sandra too.
Yeah, me too.
Took a while, but I got on. And if I can get on, trust me, you can get on.
I found it worked well, but one thing to suggest to everybody is when you're finished with it, click it off and just go back then to the page to try to get the next one. Don't try to go within the site itself because it's not in order.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
just
yeah,
click
All right.
on each of the links I sent you.
Yeah, just do each one
Now,
separately.
the other thing you could do, and we can work on that later, is I sent you also the rubric and a link, so you can open that up, and then you can still score them manually if you want, and then we can add them later.
But JJ, as long as we're populating whatever list you send us, it's going to store it. Is that correct?
It's gonna store it. Yes.
Okay. One other thing. How do I effectively get the fact that I have a question there? Because I didn't seem to be coming up in the queue.
Got to go in participant panel, click on that. And then when you click on the caret up, open it up and then raise your hand. It says raise hand when you see under your name on the participant panel.
Raise hands at the bottom right.
Yep. All right. Everything Food. Are you ready? You can share your screen. I made you a panelist. Barry, did you want me to make you a panelist as well? Raise your hand, Barry, if you want me to make you a panelist.
Yes, that'd be great. Thank you. Thank you.
Not Easterling, the other Barry.
Sorry about that, JJ.
All right. Go ahead. You can get started. You have 5 minutes.
All right. Hi, I'm Peter Balsell, CEO of Everything Food. I'd like to thank you all for letting me present to you today. So let's get started. If I can get my slide.
Go, Peter, go.
Sorry about that. I'm jammed up there. All right, so let me start with the problem. 50% of admissions to hospitals are people that are malnourished. So this has two negative impacts to the hospital. It increases the length of stay by 2 days, and the chance of them coming back is 50% in a readmission. So this is costing the insurance companies $157 billion per year. So that's $6,500 per malnutrition person with malnutrition versus somebody who's healthy going to the hospital. So the hospitals are recognizing this, and they are paying up to $800 million a year for nutrition programs for outpatients. So how do we go about solving this problem? So Everything Food is a four-sided platform, and it's a platform as a service. And what we do is we connect consumers, in this case, outpatients, with health professionals, food providers, and food retailers. And the goal is to reduce that stay and also to reduce readmission rates. So how does it work? So a hospital works with everything food. What we do is we have fulfillment partners that do prepared meals, meal kits, and grocery boxes. A hospital will decide what type of program they want to set up with us, and then they buy those as a subscription to those patients on the managed care program. And then those fulfillment partners then deliver those meals or those products to the outpatients. But there's a second level, which is self-care. So the hospitals can also set up diet templates in our system. And what that allows them to do is, say if you're diabetic, what they can do is put certain foods that have high added sugars or other sorts of foods you should avoid into our system. And what that does is that controls the types of groceries that those people would see on our platform to be able to see what is compatible with their diet. So we're trying to manage at two levels. Is one, the fulfillment in the managed care portion, and the second, when they migrate off that program into self-care, that they have some guidelines that they can adhere to once they're off the food program. And so then what we do is then report back to the hospital how that group is managing once they've left the hospital. So what's our advantage? We have over 1 million food products, and we have a very deep database and very broad database. And we cover 59 supermarket chains, which has about 38,000 outlets nationwide. And so how do we make money? We have two sources of revenue. The first is a software license to the hospital. So for a 500 patient model, that's $75,000 a year. And then on the other side is the fulfillment partners. Since we're doing the sales and marketing for the fulfillment partners, and they're just doing the fulfillment, we can charge them a processing fee. So for prepared meals, that's $1 a meal. For meal kits and produce boxes, that's $4 to $5 per meal. So as we look at our revenue model, we're looking at starting 12 pilots in 2021. That would net us roughly $1.5 million in revenue. And then as we're able to really look at the pilots, we're really targeting hospital system networks. So those are networks that typically have between 20 and 200 hospitals, all under the same corporate umbrella. So once you run a pilot and prove it in a network, then it's easier to scale it out to the rest of the network since they have a reference site for that. So you can see as a software company, we can really start to grow quickly and scale and have tremendous margins. So why us? Well, our team averages 20 years experience in each of our fields. We also have the founder of Harvest RX on our team. She had started a food pharmacy, which is the main thing that people are using in order to provide food in their outpatient services. And then we also have an advisory team consisting of dietitians and doctors from hospitals, from health food professionals, academia, and private practice professionals. So we're looking for an $8 million Series A round in the second quarter of 2021.
All right, time's up.
All right, let's go first to Tony, then Catherine, Matt, and Max in that order. Tony?
Yes, quick question. So will your solution displace hospital catering services? In other words,
Now the catering are for the internal staff. But this
the internal staff, the internal cooking staff, preparing meals and so forth.
No, this would be once the patient leaves the hospital, then they're getting the meals delivered to them.
Okay, so
it's a nutrition, an outpatient nutrition program is what they call it. And so it's trying to help people in the community not come back to the hospital because they're malnourished.
Understood. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, go to Catherine.
Something like 80% of US hospitals operate in the red. Collectively, they've lost $40 billion in revenues in 2020. Can you tell us if you have really talked to the hospital systems to figure out who's got the money and the, shall we say, people and mental energy to focus on what you have to offer?
Yeah, absolutely. The people who have the money are the insurance companies. And if they can prove out the pilots, they want to take us to the insurance companies because they want them to pay. So you kind of think of it for car insurance, they give you a good driver discount, right? So they're trying to incentivize good eating discounts. So if you are losing weight, if you're showing healthier signs, there's less likely you're coming back to the hospital for that.
So you're saying that your main go-to-market is to the insurance companies, not the hospital systems?
Well, no, not necessarily, because you have to start with the hospitals. And so in the industry, you're looking for the innovators, and people are already doing this. They already have outpatient nutrition programs. So it's really trying to come in that void and start to do it. But most of the people are nonprofits, and so they don't really scale. They really need a software that can help this happen. And that's the most scalable solution to do it.
Okay.
All right, Matt, and then Max.
So the insurance companies are not currently paying for these meals, is that correct?
No, so a lot of hospitals, in order to help their communities, they're doing that. And then you also have ones that are in food deserts, trying to also help people in their community with these outreach programs.
Right.
Like you said, not all hospitals are doing it, but it's got to start somewhere.
Okay. Go to Barbara and then Minda.
Yeah, thank you. So following up on that question, so your end user is kind of the hospital, kind of the insurance company. Tell us about what the end user looks like. Is it someone that has insurance? Is it the underserved community, which it kind of sounds like it might be? And tell us, it sounds like you're a logistics company, right? You're not an expertise SaaS platform for tweaking the nutritional content. You are taking the hospital's nutrition advice and expertise, and you're bolting that into some kind of a platform, and then you're almost enforcing compliance via the delivery from supermarkets, right? So tell us.
Yeah, the fulfillment partners are doing produce boxes, prepared meals, which are restaurants, or meal kits, which are restaurants. So these are local area providers that then are doing meals that conform to the dietary requirements of the outpatients in that. So they're helping them transition out of the hospital to eat healthier. And then our solution encompasses grocery stores as well, so that they can have further compliance eating foods. So they have to avoid Cheetos, that's not going to be on their list of foods that they should be eating.
But do these people normally, and I don't want to go on, but these people have been paying for these through a grocery store, fulfilling these nutritional orders post-release from the hospital and going into outpatient care. Is that correct?
Yeah, and the hospitals are funding that right now. And the ones we've talked to, they'd like to move that up to the insurance companies to have them fund it, especially if they can show it reduces the admission rate and or the length of stay for people. So those are real drivers of the metrics that they have to are measured by.
Okay, go to Max and then Minda.
Yes, Peter, you're raising 8 million in an A. It sounds like you're very early. What's the deal for investors? What's the pre-money valuation, or is this a convertible note?
We're looking at convertible note, but again, we're open.
And what's the cap on the note? Have you determined that?
We haven't yet.
And one other question real quickly. What is the why? Why are you doing this business?
The why is that we have found this niche with the hospitals, and we see that it's a really large underserved market, and there's not an easy solution to it.
Thank you.
All right. I guess that's about it, unfortunately.
So we can go with Minda while everybody's scoring. Go ahead, Minda.
All right, go ahead, Minda.
Yeah, I was just curious a little bit about the systems integration that's going to be required and the costs of doing that and maintaining that for the hospital systems.
Yeah, they would actually sign on to our platform. They would specify the meals that they want to serve in our platform, and then all the diet templates would be set up in our platform. So it would just be, usually there's a hospital admin. They would set up the programs they want to do, and then they would give us a list of patients that they would want to upload into the system. And then those people would then have access to the system. And then
so it doesn't synchronize. So if I go over into the system, the data, how does that data get back into the hospital system?
We're provide reports back to the hospital on the cohort.
So it's by reports.
Yeah,
okay.
Correctly.
All right.
All right, thank you. All right, anybody still having problems scoring? Catherine, Janice, Phil? Okay.
I was able to score the last couple.
Okay.
If you hit done, is that, I don't know exactly if it's being
No,
registered.
you don't need to hit anything. Just put the star and that's it. It saves.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
JJ, nothing comes up. Is there supposed to be something on the bottom I click on, or how do you do it?
Go in the chat. You can pull up the list from there.
Yeah, there's a list there.
I did that and I ended up off the whole system.
Oh, well, try cutting and pasting. It worked for me. It might be your server.
Did you open up F6S already, Phil?
Yeah, you
I
need to
open
log
up the
into
app
that one.
first.
Yeah.
I'm off.
Bill, the last advice you got is the best. Go back to the original F6. Abandon the tab of your last company.
Yeah, if you use the email I sent 8:30 this morning, just click the links. If you're logged into F6S, click the link and it works. So.
But you got to log into the app first.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's beyond me.
But it is working fine for me on this end.
Okay, thank you.
Problems at
Yeah,
all.
it's working for the vast majority. There's just a couple having issues. I don't know, Zandra didn't have issues, but this morning it seems like she does, but there's only like 3 or 4. The rest seem to be okay. All right, HD Vo in Maps, when you start, we'll start the timer.
Okay, can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you, everybody. All right, we'll start. Hello, everyone. My name is HD. I am the founder and CEO of InMaps, and thank you for making the time today, and I will present to you InMaps. So commercial buildings today are pretty complex. There are, can you see my slide, by the way?
Yeah. Keep going.
There are thousands of items and equipment inside a commercial building. So imagine in this scenario, there's a water leak, right? And you call in the facility staff. And the first thing they gotta find out is, well, where's the shutoff valve? Unfortunately, most of those information today is in a paper floor plan. Or this scenario, my dad works in facility for 35 plus years, and he would get these 2 a.m. calls. And then now he has to find that paper floor plan. But guess what? The paper floor plan is in the office building. He worked for Cedars-Sinai in LA, so he drives like an hour from his home to Cedars-Sinai. And so at 2 a.m., he's sleepy, and then now he has to get to work. So InMap helps the facility staff. InMap is the first inventory mapping software for the facility management industry. We take paper floor plan, and we have a proprietary process where we digitize the paper floor plan and convert it into indoor digital maps. We also take all of the information about the equipment, and usually most of these are kept in spreadsheet, and we integrate that data into the app as well. Our software also enables the facility staff to take photos of the equipment. So data, there might be missed data entering it, but photos don't lie. And so the facility staff, they take thousands of photos of the equipment, and we integrate that into our app. And lastly, we integrate location-based indoor technology into the map so that we can show where everything is. So now the facility staff, when their alarm goes off, they just open up the app, they look at the asset tag, they search for it, and it shows them the position of where the item is on the map. So now the facility person can work from anywhere, from their home, 2 a.m. at home, or even when they're traveling. They just open up the app and they can see the app. Here's an example case of Stanford Healthcare, which is one of our customers. They have installed thousands of hand sanitizer because of COVID. And on this hand sanitizer, there's a QR code. And so when it runs out, you can request a service by scanning this QR code. And the QR code creates a web form where the map is linked inside the form. And this is automatically done by our software. And so now a work ticket is created, it's sent to the facility person. And when they come on site to service that sanitizer, they just open up the app, they search for the asset tag of that sanitizer, and it shows them the location on the map. So our software is also being used in other customer projects. We have a customer that mapped 10 schools at the Vallejo City School District for 800 air conditioning units. They liked it so much, they did it again for the Santa Rosa Unified School District, 24 schools, 950 air conditioning units. And right now they're using our software to map 9,000 water feet. Sorry, jumping ahead there. 9,000 water meters at the city of Valdosta, Georgia. Our business model is 1 penny per monthly square foot to digitize the floor plan and hosting the maps, and then 10 cents per active asset. And some of these assets can last 20 years, like an air conditioner. The total market size, we're looking at the US commercial market. There are 88 billion US commercial square feet. We're targeting buildings that are larger than 50,000 square feet, which total 44 billion square feet. And based on this number, we estimate the market size is $5.8 billion. Our 3-year financial projection, we're projected to do over 500K in the next 12 months, growing to 10 million revenue and then break even in year 3, or be profitable in year 3. We have a full team. I myself am a serial entrepreneur with 1 prior successful startup. I'm a grad from MIT and also an MBA from Cal Law. My CTO is from Caltech. We have a full team of engineers, designers.
30 seconds.
Okay. Our investors so far are angels from MIT and Cal Law. We're looking to raise $1 million to grow our sales staff at a valuation of $6 million. Up to date, we raised $670K from mostly angels, family, and friends. Our technology is mature. We have 1 patent file. And we also have signed customers, and we're conducting pilots with new customers. Thank you.
All right, we have a couple of extra minutes. Barbara, Sanjay, Don, and Catherine. Barbara?
Yeah, hi, Steve. A very good presentation, and I'm not going to softball it because we both went to MIT. Trust me.
Oh, I didn't know that. We should hook up. We should.
So I really like the product. So it sounds like you've gone from a paper world to sort of an analog, but you've digitized it somewhat. But I wonder, how are you going to go to 3.0 in the world of the Internet of Things, rather than someone taking their phone and having to find that Q code on the hand sanitizer machine? How are you going to amp up and get ready for an IoT world?
Yeah, exactly. We're actually planning for that already. That's sort of our phase. We have a 3-phase approach. Phase 1 is we're going to map the fixed stationary equipment that are dumb. And then phase 2 is we're actually going to enable our software to allow people to map IoT devices so that we can collect their data and then show where everything is on the map. And then phase 3 is actually to track moving or movable equipment inside hospital, like an infusion pump. So IoT is actually part of our plan. And to do that, we're building an API platform that will allow seamless integration between IoT devices with our indoor mapping technology.
Okay, thank you.
Sanjay, then Don.
Yes, so Barbara already asked my question, but I had one follow-up. So the 2 big customers I see today are the schools and the hospitals. What's your scale-up plan, right? How are you planning to, let's say, beyond Stanford, get every hospital system here in California? And we have quite a few, as you know.
Yeah. And
even on the school side, it looks like you opportunistically gotten some schools to participate. I mean, what's the plan?
Yeah. So there's actually 3 phases to this industry. There's a subcontractor who goes on the site and inspect and document everything. And then there's the people who actually do the work, replacing the equipment, upgrading the equipment. And the third is the facility manager.
What's that?
Excuse me.
You can do it in here. It's fine. But I'm on.
So the contractor who document the site, they're the one who goes visit all these schools, and they do hundreds of projects per year. So our customer is that subcontractor. The school is actually not our end customers, but is the contractor who goes on the site using our software and that documentation, right? And then in the case of Stanford, they have over 200 buildings, so they have their own internal facility staff. So right now we have actually 40 staff members at Stanford using our app, and they're documenting everything within the Stanford buildings, right? So our sales approach is actually not necessarily targeting the school, but we're targeting the subcontractor and contractor who's using the software. And then we're contracting the very large facility staff with hundreds of buildings to manage.
Try to make your answers a little shorter so we have some more questions coming in, please. I'm going to go to Don, Volker, and then Catherine.
Would you go to slide 10, please? Slide 10. You had a nice presentation. Good job with it. But go to slide 10.
Okay, 10. This one?
Yes. Now you said your pricing is 10 cents to $1. How does that vary? What's the scale on that determination?
So that depends on the type of equipment. For example, air conditioning units are more on the $1, whereas a sensor or an IoT device more on the range of the 10 cents.
Okay. And the other question I had is you're raising $1 million. You've raised 670. Is the 670 part of the million, or is that $1 million new?
No, 670 is up to date. What we have already raised.
What valuation was that?
They were at valuation cap. The last round was at 4.8 valuation cap.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Volker and then Catherine.
Good presentation. Your asset tax that you were talking about, do you provide those, or you're taking third-party asset tax to put them into your plan?
The asset tag?
Yeah, you said you can trace assets.
Oh,
and
right.
They would have an asset tag on it.
Right. So I have to make sure, clarify, we are software, we're not a hardware company. So we work with hardware partners who make the asset tag. And then we take their positioning and we map it onto our software.
Thank you. So you only map it. So if the asset is moving, you can't map it.
The asset's moving, it will send us their coordinate. And usually it sends a X and Y coordinate, and then we have to convert that into a GPS in an indoor location.
We're out of time. Thank you.
Yeah, all right, as we go into our vote, filling out our form, let Catherine ask any final quick question.
Yeah, I'm still unclear exactly what information you provide your customers beyond location data. You show, spreadsheets and so on.
Yeah.
Are they images, or are they actual spreadsheet detail information that can be, dissected?
Think of us like the Google Map for indoors, right? So when you want to find something in Google Map, you open it and you search a location, you search for whatever information. We are basically the Google Map for indoor. When you want to find where that fire alarm is, you open up our app, you search for it, we show you the route, how to get there, we show you all of the information relating to that alarm or that air conditioner. So now you don't have to actually be on site and actually walk up to it.
So that's my question. The information that you show for the particular device, is that a status? Is that besides location, is that a image, or is that a actual spreadsheet details?
Yeah, it's photos, it's all the spec information, manufacturer, model number, all of the specs information, and the location. So that could be, it's on the second floor, it's in room 201, and this is how the route to get to it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Good presentation.
Thank you.
JJ, who's up next?
Yes, who was up next is Lead. Lead, please raise your hand. And Yumi is coming on. Here we go, Yumi. You can share your screen, Yumi, and you get started. When you get started, we'll start the timer.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everybody. This is Yumi. Let me know if you can see my screen.
No, we can't. You need to share it. Click on share. Yep,
there we
now
go.
It's coming up. Okay.
Okay, 1 second. Let me get the slide down. Okay, hi everyone. My name is Yumi, the CEO and co-founder of Lead. We build Lead to help companies to maximize their current team potential, starting with introduce team members through Microsoft Teams and Slack. So before I get into the product, I want to tell you why I started Lead. So back in 2016, I was a country manager for Meitu Technologies. The apps like TikTok and Snapchat basically had a 4.5 billion IPO. So the company was really successful, but it was struggling with keeping its employees because people were quitting every week. However, my team was the only team able to keep 100% employee retention. The things I did differently was to went out of my way to connect every team members with other teams. So as a result, we were able to hit our KPI to reach 1 out of 3 women in Japan, which is 20 million users within 500K marketing budget. So after that success, the experience inspired me to wrap this practice into a software combined with the knowledge I get from Wharton people analytics and HR management. To help any companies can use this software plug and play. So I met Jay and Ayman as my co-founder back in 2019. Jay is a great engineer in Twilio. He built product from beta to GA and also through IPO. Ayman, he had 3 startups in the past. His most dedicated projects are analyze people's communication metadata through email to understand the organization's productivity. So us 3 come together to build the lead. The problems we are solving is that one of the largest reasons for people leave their job, especially for millennials, is because relationship-related matters and the lack of internal growth opportunities. So companies know that, and they know that if employees have friends and mentors in the company, they can boost morale and stay in companies for 3 times and longer. So companies have this department called the learning and development. It's in the HR department. They have the 2nd largest budget, which is about $100 per person per month to spend on the social learning and the P2P activities. So this is why we build our software in Slack and Microsoft Teams, is that to manage this remote workforce and more work from home things becomes mainstream, especially right now California has like 2 days out of 1 week mandated work from home. So companies are urged to build a product to use a product that can help their employees build a relationship online. So this is very easy to use our software. The HR will set the rules, such as engineers meet sales, or maybe 20 executives meet 2,000 non-executives, and our software will automatically make those projects effectively match them in seconds and display those data to the HR. So this is what employees to see once the matches happen, and then they will be able to meet and chat based on the HR's guidance. So after we launched this product in January, we immediately see 400 companies download our software completely organically, and we are reaching 10K monthly active employee users last month. So as a phase 1 product, the SAM is 2 billion and it's quite a large, growing really fast in Microsoft Teams and Slack. So right now, our product is still MVP, but companies are using us heavily to replace the 3 things they are doing to instead of the manual matching, self-opting progress. But this is not exactly how we intend to grow. Let me get into a little more about the details. So if you look at this, what?
You have 30 seconds left.
Yeah, so this is the collaboration network, and we have 2 patterns in people analytics and then identify business silos and how to improve organizational communication to see where the communication between and from. We are at casual data collection phase, but we're moving to the people analytics. And then we already have companies using our software. And right now we are raising 1.2 million to enable our future plan. Sorry, the time is a little bit short, so I had to cut off a lot.
All right, need to be able to ask questions. Please raise your hand. We have Catherine in the chat, and the participant panel is first up. Make your answers short if you can, so we get more questions in, okay?
Sure.
This is clearly an obvious need for 2020. Can you talk about, of the 10,000 users, especially since you're doing freemium, what has been the conversion rate to pay subscription?
Yes, so right now we haven't built on the payment version yet, but we already have 30 to 35% of those companies emailed us to ask for upgrade to premium. And out of that, there's 20 companies that more than 30,000 employees. They also would like to upgrade to premium. So we send a contract to one company and then they sign the contract within 5 minutes. So we're pretty sure that once we reach 50K users, which is in 4 months, we will be able to start to charge everybody a fee.
Thank you.
Okay, Minda? Minda, if you want to take yourself off mute, go ahead.
Just curious how you plan to substantiate the ROI. I know these things can be kind of indirect, but do you have any way to know, like, did the employees actually meet each other? And what other sort of mechanisms for feedback do you get that sort of re-inform your model and make better matches and also prove ROI to your clients?
Yeah, definitely. That was the part I cut off actually. So we have this people analytics map. Once company download our software, we get the existing communication data through the API. And then we start to introduce people based on the HR things. So we are able to measure the people's after behaviors compared to before behaviors. And then also compare the groups that haven't been matched with matched. So we can do suggestions to HR to show whether people start to talk to each other or have a meeting, because all the things are logged into the API.
Okay, go to Sanjay and then Jeff.
Yes, sorry, I missed the business model. What is the model, how you're going to make money? And secondly, why wouldn't a Microsoft or Slack just copy this?
Yeah, sure. So Microsoft and then, well, it's much easier to them to acqui-hire us. So the business model is freemium and the land and expand. So companies can download our software from Microsoft Teams App Store and the Slack App Store. And then once they use for months, they will include their managers and ask for upgrade. And then after upgrade, we sell the premium to them.
Okay, Jeff and then Hilton.
I think I understand the basic premise of what you're trying to do relationally, but I'm trying to imagine the practical application. Are employees meeting with each other while at work? Is this considered work time? Are they only talking about work things, or are you trying to create company couples that get married? I mean, there could be a little bit of a predatory or creepiness to this depending on how it rolls out. So could you go into your why?
Yes, definitely. So the rule is set by HR. So those like what to talk about, and then when you meet, how you should meet are all contained in the messages that HR send out to people, and that's customizable. So most companies, they will just use our template, or maybe they will create their own. And most of the agenda here is to meet to talk about things around the work, whether talk at work time or not at work time is also based on how HR would like it. So half of our companies will make this into things into work time because they want people to talk about specific things. But there's half of the other HR would like people to use this for coffee time and lunch time. So how to use it is really based on the company culture in general. And we do have reporting like issue reporting things, and that's completely to our software. So we will be able to, unless there's like something report a harassment, we will report to HR. Otherwise, it's like to our system.
Okay, we're going to go to Hilton and then Catherine.
Hi, Yumi. Again, great presentation. I'm going to follow up on Minda's question. I'm not sure I got an answer on kind of identifying how you kind of justify the ROI to a customer. For instance, there's a lot of connections, and I heard a lot of things like that, and we've heard some people talk about examples of it's almost like a dating kind of app. But where do you get to actually say, I think the initial intent was ROI, I mean, on a employee retention. So how do you measure retention before and after, or during, or tell me a little bit about that, please.
Yes, so at our MVP stage, we're saving HR 80 hours work by matching people and tracking people's progress. That's why the company are using our software today. And then we are matching people to see people's behavior changes. For example, are they isolated after matching? While they still isolated, do they behave the way to, to not talk to people? So that cause them isolated or not? Or people are over communicated, and then we are matching their team and to see if those behaviors changes. So we'll be able to benchmark that by department, by industry, and also by demographics. And then those data are very useful for the people analytics. It's a job title within the HR. So those people will be able to collect those data and then help them to benchmark their employee retention and productivities.
I'm sorry, we don't have time anymore. Thank you, Hilton. Thank you, Yumi. Great presentation.
Thank you. If you have more questions, I can give you my email address and feel free to contact me.
Right. Anyway, please take out your computers and apps and vote. And unlike Chicago, this is one vote, not vote early, vote often.
All right. Who is next?
You want to take a 5-minute break, or do you want to just continue?
One more, and we'll take a 5-minute break. Yeah.
Got it.
One more. Yeah. Who's next presenting? Let's see. So My Shopperoo.
Ah, yes, My Shopperoo.
Krishna, are you there? That's not good. Krishna, you're not there?
AJ,
anybody presenting for My Shopperoo?
Says lead next. Lead.
That was lead.
The one that just was lead.
Yeah. All right. Krishna's not here. It doesn't look like. Is Novus ready to go? Novus, if you are, please raise your hand. All right, Ruth, you're coming on. Okay, Ruth, you can share your screen now. And then share your screen when you're ready. You can get started.
All right, Ruth, take it away. Ruth?
Ruth is muted. Hold on, I'll unmute her.
Mute. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you. Pumpkin Fuel for Life. Welcome, everybody. My name is Ruth Brennan, CEO from Novus Life. Just bear with me. I'm going to show you today why we provide consumers with a yummy pumpkin seed protein bar that is digestible, clean, and made with organic plant-based ingredients. The problem is that over the last decade, the health food industry has been dominated by manufactured and engineered proteins, where the body has difficulties processing protein or creates digestion discomfort due to existing allergies in many consumers. Novus' main ingredient is pumpkin seed protein. This is a nutritional power packed with fiber, vitamins, and minerals that is highly digestible with little or no side effects. Pumpkin seed has been associated with several health benefits. And finally, pumpkin seed is own flavor, so no need to add extra sweeteners to make it taste good. Our market opportunity is represented at 1.2 billion in the US alone, with a growing rate of 5.6% over the next 6 years. The pumpkin seed protein has currently market penetration of 775,000 and growing. I was introduced as a consultant to a Canadian corporation a few years ago, which produced a pumpkin seed protein bar for the Canadian market. In my tenure, I saw positive feedback from customers based online and in the B2B markets. The product achieved 8% of the marketplace in a limited geographical area, a population of 4.5 million. I started to realize this product was unique. First, its pumpkin seed protein benefit. Secondly, lack of needing to add sweeteners and artificial flavors appealed to my own lifestyle. I recognize the opportunity and potentials in the US, particular I-5 corridor, a population over 50 million, and designed a similar recipe to launch in the US. Our new MVP were tested with families and friends with positive results. We continue to bootstrap our growth and are currently conducting bench tests to finalize our marketing process with our co-packer. The market opportunity, our market demographic of 16 to 65 years of age, lending to 89% female and 11% male consumers, with 78% of this group being students, office worker, parents, and retirees. This group is active and resourceful in using the internet to research healthy choices as they choose to avoid chemicals and synthetic ingredients. Consumers are moving towards plant-based product that contains omega-3 like flaxseed and chia seeds. Novus has what the consumer is looking for: organic, whole food, plant-based. Our bars average 9 grams of protein, 2 grams of sugar, 7 grams of fiber, and an average of 160 calories, which is the recommended life optimization for women recommended by dietitians and nutritionists. Our pumpkin seed protein recipe accelerates us to the leader in balancing protein and sugar levels for the whole family. As the CEO and founder, I bring 35 years of international multi-sector profile leadership in startups and is complemented with a highly structured and aligned team, a 21-year military veteran CEO, a 15-year VP of manufacturing, and the marketing team VP brings 20 years of vast knowledge and experience in branding, e-commerce, and social media. This team has worked together over the past year to get us to the
30
MVP,
seconds.
and now we're ready to go to market. We seek to raise $1 million in seed funding to launch in the USA and to plant us firmly with marketing and production. We have raised $150,000 through management, which brought us to the MVP. The truth is, many competitors' proteins are candy bars in disguise. They're often loaded with sugar and empty calories. Finding a bar that stands out from the tummy distressed protein crowd can be difficult, but Novus team has created one that tastes great and has none of the common side effects. Thank you so much.
All right, let's go to the panel bar, and Catherine first up, please. And then we'll go to Stacy and then Greg. Catherine?
Thank you. Ruth, I already want to eat your bars, but as you know, CPG companies succeed or fail based on shelf space, channel, and also geographic plans or strategy. Can you talk about those things, please? And
Yes.
oh, and your team's experience in CPG.
Okay, so yes, there is a lot of competition with this very similar bars, except with one exception, that the proteins are engineered or produced to give a lot of people discomfort. So a lot of women won't buy them for their families because of the high sugar content and basically—
Please do not discuss your product's merits. My question was about CPG experience on your team and your channel and shelf space strategy.
Okay, shelf space, right. So basically, any B2B stores will be very keen to take on the product into their shelves, and as long as we have a good social media advertising to push the product out, the stores will take it in. And our team especially myself. I've been involved in this industry for over 3 years and happened to see how the shelf space and how the shelf space is welcome for new products.
All right, let us go on to the next question to Greg and then to Tony.
Building on Catherine's comment, it is a highly competitive segment, and I don't think you have nearly enough money to, one, get trade distribution, and then more importantly, how will you generate consumer trial and repeat as well as brand awareness?
Okay, so the start is basically running our pilot run, have the product ready to go on our website, and create the customer traction. And with the social media backup to make brand awareness before we go to any specialty stores in California.
Okay, Tony, and then Barbara.
Never mind, Mike. Yeah, thank you.
Or maybe your son in the background wants to ask a question. We'll let him in later. Or
Maybe he wants a pumpkin bar.
Yeah, Barbara.
That's my daughter's PE class.
All right, we're gonna go to Barbara and then Minda for the
Don't
last
raise your
question.
hand. So I made a mistake. I guess I raised my hand early on.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see it. Go ahead, Stacy.
Oh. Anyway, I just made an investment in a company in a bar, so I have a little bit of background in this area, and I think that you're overly optimistic on thinking you're going to be able to get the shelf space that you think you're going to get. And may I recommend that you do B2C, sell directly, e-commerce directly, online.
Do
see
you
how
have
you
a specific question for her though? Because we're going to run out of time.
Are you limited to? Are you only B2B, or have you thought about going right to the consumer, see how you do, try to do well with them, and then have some leverage with the retail companies?
Okay. Thank you for your question. So basically our rollout is concentrated on B2C through e-commerce first to gain our traction before we go into our specialty stores. And then the two-year plan is national through distribution. We do have to create our brand. We have to create the brand first before we go and ask for shelf space.
All right, last question, unfortunately, is going to be Barbara's.
Why is that unfortunate?
Because there was another question after you.
Listen, I commend you, Ruth, for trying to do the right thing and getting.
That's okay.
But again, building on Catherine and Greg's comments, so if 18% of your $1 million ask is marketing and sales, it does sound like a lot. I mean, there's slotting fees and all the stuff that new products have to deal with. But I really have trouble getting my head around that. And if you could also explain, you said that you had 8% penetration on your market test. Were you sampling? Because sampling obviously is a very expensive part of product launch. Can you just give us a little color on that?
Okay, so when I talked about the Canadian market, that was not my company, but I was very close involved with them on a consulting basis. So what I seen was they were basically in the e-commerce and also in the B2B in the local stores, meaning it wasn't national stores. So going national is a very expensive way to go and probably will never be a success unless you really start from the bottom with the e-commerce, branding, and then go to specialty stores. So I'm not talking about Kroger or any of those large stores. That will come later. It's more the vitamin shops and the nutritional shops. Those people, because of the pumpkin seed protein, because it is a different protein from whey or pea protein, and the pumpkin is known in the protein bar, no, the protein powder, not so much in the bars.
All right, we have to we have to get on to the next, I'm sorry. But appreciate it. Thanks. Good presentation.
5-minute break, right? 5-minute break,
minute.
120, 125.
Yeah, we're going to start exactly at 125.
All right.
For all those still online, sorry about the ability to stay on target for the 5 minutes, but we're unfortunately on a time constraint. So if we haven't gotten to you, raise your hand in the participant box, then you'll be in queue and then you can figure out if you have a question or not, I guess. But apologize to everybody who has questions. I think the good news is everyone's asking or wants to ask questions.
Well, the questions are good questions, which is great.
Hey, Miss Barney, how you doing?
I'm doing awesome, David. I'm doing terrific.
So good. We got to get together. I want to catch up with you in person and find out what's going on. How's Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Daffy
No, they're
Duck?
doing great. They're
Good to hear
doing
it.
great. And all sorts of mischief, but you know, what can you do?
Yeah, I know.
They're such troublemakers.
We want
we'll
you
have to
back
do
in
that. I'll
TCA,
leave
by
that
the
to you
way.
separately. What?
I want you back in TCA.
Well, you know, once I could get through some of this crazy stuff, all these
We
new
can help you.
plans.
We can help you. We have people that if you join now, we give you a free Ginsu knife set and we wash your car every week.
Well, there certainly is a lot of talent there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But I would like, but let me know sometimes I'll come up to your neck of the woods or wherever, because I'm
Okay.
getting punch drunk on Zoom meetings. You know, after 3 days of this in a row, my head feels like the ball between two clappers, you know?
You know that you're like getting a little punchy if the last 10 cocktail parties that you've been to have all been Zoom cocktail parties.
Yeah, well,
It's not
actually,
quite the
San
same
Diego
thing.
had one. They gave us 2 bottles of wine. Now, you got to think about this. 2 bottles of wine in a 1 hour happy hour. You get punch drunk online, and then you're drunk normally. I mean,
Dave, you didn't have to drink them all in 2 hours.
oh, speaking of the devil.
There's some stories to be told.
Yeah, and Jay can probably tell a few. You know, Janice, you know Jay, don't you?
Well, I know him by name, but we actually physically had a conversation. I'd wave to you, but you don't want to look at me right now. Pretend I'm waving.
Oh, how do you know?
Jay's one
They're
of
in
the
your
good
Zoom
guys.
clothes, like the rest of
Biotech
us.
expert.
Yeah, well, it's very nice to meet you. We're getting some great questions for the entrepreneurs, and I don't know if the others have a chance to listen in, but I think they're really valuable.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch listening in, although we invited everybody to come and listen, so it's up to them. But yeah, there's probably
JJ,
15, 20.
JJ, do I assume that you even invited the ones that didn't make the second round?
Yes, everybody's invited. Yes.
That's cool. That's really cool.
I think it's cool too.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right, Don. Even the ones that didn't make it should be here first.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot to learn. I think.
Good point.
Yeah, everybody's invited. I mean, we have room for 500 people with this webinar, and we we have 197 companies that signed up. So that's a lot of companies.
I'll tell you one thing. The one thing that I notice as I listen to all these questions, if I were a Supreme Court justice being questioned by you guys, I'd probably go back to being a zookeeper. Because you guys are really asking good questions. Let me clue you. And especially Catherine. I mean, when you ask a question, I duck under the table. I'm not even answering it, you know?
I agree. Catherine makes me wilt into a little puddle.
I know.
David, you're such a good zookeeper too.
Thank you. Yeah. Been bitten in the ass many times. By an ass, sorry.
Oh my gosh.
All right, we have next resolve. Resolve, raise your hand, please. Two people, Christopher and Stephen. Okay, we're bringing you both in. Here we go.
All right. And we'll have 5 minutes of time for your presentation, 30-second warning, and then 5 minutes of Q&A, and it'll be a sharp cutoff on both.
All right. Christopher, you should be on. You can share your screen.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
I can hear you, Verizon. Take it away.
Great. Just give me a moment. What I'd like to do is just speak to the audience, to you all, and then in the last moment, I will share a screen. And then I heard that you said there was 2 people coming in. I'm the only one from my company.
You're the only one. They dropped their hand, so I thought there was 2 people. So that's
Got
fine.
it. Okay. So let me just make sure that the screen sharing is going to work, and then give me just 1 moment, please.
Yeah, we'll start the timer when you start speaking.
Remind me where the screen sharing button is.
At the bottom.
It should be in the middle
Yeah.
or to the top. I don't know which one on yours. It should be a green button saying share screen.
The most obvious one in the middle.
Yeah, green.
Right.
I'll give you a hint. Green means go, red means stop. That used to be the national car rental slogan, by the way.
And it's a pretty quick upload once I hit share screen, because I don't want you to stare at PowerPoint for 5 minutes.
Okay, go.
Okay. You ready to go?
Take it away.
Okay. All right, guys, pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. So the impact that Resolve is going to have over the next 2 to 3 years is that we're going to be providing basic access to healthcare for all 10 million uninsured Californians. And we're going to do that by making sure that they all have access to an MD by video visit. And we're going to do that through the Resolve phone app. We're going to do a lot more than just providing diagnoses and education and referrals to over-the-counter recommendations. We're comfort that patients uninsured will have access to an MD to ask questions any time of the day. We're going to be making sure that they're not going to the ER when they don't need to be there. And we're absolutely going to guide them through the healthcare system if they need to go in to see a doctor. We provide prescriptions, and for the most part, they will be able to afford single one-time prescriptions. And in the future, we'll be working with grant funding, federal funding, as well as county hospitals in the state to make sure that we can get coupons to the uninsured so that they can afford the medications that they need. I would really challenge you to find a more humane and a timely business to invest in. So how is this going to work, and what are the fundamental principles that will allow us to succeed? So number 1, we're going to meet them in the ER. This is where the uninsured get their care. We're going to basically provide discharge ER patients that are uninsured a link and a code to our Resolve web app. And why would they care to use our software? Well, uninsured, like everyone, they want convenience and they want safety with their healthcare. And all of them actually have cell phones. So fun fact is that 96% of all Californians that are homeless, above 50, they all have cell phones. And the vast majority of those are smartphones. Number 2, we're going to connect our uninsured patients to the most undervalued and affordable healthcare workforce, that being resident physician medical doctors. So those are those that are still in training. I currently have 70 that are hired by me and working for the company that are in their senior year of residency. I'm paying them $20 per visit to see patients at this time. They're very content with that, and that can actually be lowered somewhat. The fact that residents are being paid minimum wage on the average is very telling why they're so intensely interested in involvement in telehealth care. And there's tons of evidence to support this, thousands in polls from Medscape studies, but also from personal experience. I can tell you that I put one ad up on Indeed and 400 plus applied. I stopped after a week. Number 3, we're going to get a hospital buy-in and we're going to get contracts with them. So across the country, not just in California, we have intense financial pressures amongst hospitals, and they're no longer going to accept the losses of treatment costs associated with caring for the uninsured, especially when they're unnecessary ER visits. Okay, the treatment costs actually are about $1 million annual for medium-sized emergency departments. Those that are operating about 70,000 of annual visits. And that's not including the opportunity costs, which are thought to be about $5 million for the same size emergency departments. What that means is that because most emergency departments are operating at capacity, that if you replace the non-payers with payers, it's about $5 million for those size emergency departments. So we're going to get subscriptions. We'll obtain these subscriptions with hospitals. and we'll charge about $50,000 on average to begin with. And that will be a fraction of a percent of the savings and the revenue that we'll be able to show the hospital systems. So the contracts are key. So I started actually out with contracts in the community college sector, as I thought that would be an excellent place to find our first users, being college students. I got a 3-year contract, which I still hold, with the Palomar Community College, which is 30,000 students. And we're delivering care. We've been doing that since December 2019, quite effectively with wonderful feedback. We've been doing as much as 6 or 7 patients a day. And on average, it's more on the order of 1 to 2. Of course, that was pre-COVID, so I've been doing this for quite some time. But post-COVID, as you all know, it's a very saturated telehealth market. And since then, I've had to pivot to the untouched, uninsured market. So additionally, one thing that I really want to communicate is that I've been in the process of submitting really invaluable provisionals to the patent offices that will protect and streamline the resident physician onboarding process, and will really operationalize the telehealthcare industry as well. So what I'd like to do in the last few moments is just show you a few slides which highlights the value proposition that I'm showing the hospitals in order to obtain these contracts, and then we'll finish up. So give me one moment, please.
You only have about a little over 30 seconds. We need.
That's fine. I'm going to show you, as long as it loads, I'm going to show you the main slide, which again is the main problem that I'm posing to hospitals, which is that 10% of their ER visits are uninsured. And of those, most are unnecessary, which leads to treatment costs of up to $1 million annually and $5 million of operational costs. The solutions is basically keep these unnecessary visits out of the ER, number one. And if we can start with one hospital contract, we'll be able to reach 300 plus hospitals in California, and we'll be able to take care of the 10 million that need it most. And that's basically it. Thank you guys for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Perfect. And good timing. And now you have 5 minutes for Q&A. We have one person already queued up. Stacy, if you can answer a short if you can answer with a short answer, that would be preferable, so we get many more questions.
You got it. You got it.
Stacy, go ahead.
I was just concerned about the liability aspect of this, because residents don't have any real clinical experience. Have you considered having nurses or PAs do this? It's at least, and and residents also have to have a doctor aligned with them, right? It's the doctor's insurance. Wouldn't it be a combination?
That's beautiful initial insight, but so the moonlighting that residents do needs to be not actually monitored once they're on independent licenses. Once you're a senior, you have to be in your 4th year, and those are all of our doctors. So actually there's abundant amount of research that shows that resident physicians are on par with attendings from CHF, COPD, really complicated things, including MI. So you actually do not need them. So I'm applying a very simple task shifting model, matching the requirements of the patient's needs with the skill set of the providers. I have thought about doing mid-level providers, and that's certainly something we'll do down the line, but the comfort of knowing you have an MD in your pocket is really important, and so we really want to optimize this sweet spot. Junior residents, you could argue, are not necessarily the most independent practitioners, but the senior ones, 4th year emergency residents, orthopedists, neurosurgeons, these are very capable. You do not want to. Yeah, go ahead.
Short answers. I mean,
sure. That was okay. It's a
lot of it. All right, Catherine, and then Jay, and then Hilton. Catherine.
This is a very compelling concept, and thank you for being transparent about the pivots you've already gone through. That makes it very an interesting and thoughtful proposition. Tell us about the contracts that you have to sign. What are the key milestones to getting them signed?
So I'll lead with how you guys can help. So I would love to have a warm call. So at the moment I'm sending these short presentations, they're 8 slides with a letter to get a meeting with hospital administration and executives. That's step 1. So basically turning these cold calls into warm calls. I'm an ER doc who has limited connections. I have a few, I'm gonna utilize those, but I would really benefit from sitting down with as many hospital administrators and executives to discuss the savings that they'll be having.
Okay. Jay Cunin, and then Hilton.
Yeah, the two short questions, I guess. One is, can you explain the revenue model that you have? You said you're paying your suppliers $20 for a visit. Mm-hmm. What's the revenue that you're getting, and how are you getting it?
Absolutely. So right now our revenue honestly is quite nil. The goal, of course, is to obtain subscriptions with hospitals by just simply showing the savings from the treatment costs and the opportunity costs that they're going to have by filling their ERs with more patients. So at 50,000 a year annual from a single hospital, if we reach 300 plus hospitals, clearly that's more than double-digit millions in annual revenue.
But if a hospital's paying you 50,000, what are they getting for it?
They're getting the saving of taking care of unnecessarily taking care of patients.
So they get to refuse to treat somebody in the ED by saying, here, go to this URL?
No. That's my bad on miscommunication. The patients that leave the ERs will be providing them links and codes so that they in the future don't need to come in unnecessarily. There's a lot of treatment costs from salaries of doctors and nurses and equipment that go into taking care of those that they can never pay for their care. It's about 50 million visits a year.
My other quick question is about your competitive moat. You said your IP is about onboarding residents, but what's to keep anybody else from doing this, Teladoc or anybody like that?
Great question. So RRP is pretty vast, actually. That's in the pipeline right now. I'm happy to talk more about that, but it's better to focus on the competition because that's a really prominent question, which is the companies like Teladoc are not going to be interested for several reasons. One, good luck to them navigating the complexities of getting the system going. But number two is that their marketing and contracts, which I've all looked at, have all to do with board certified doctors. So they'd have to entirely change their contracts and their marketing. Teladoc has contracted with LA Care, which is the California's Medi-Cal, as you know, but that is not the market that we're in. We're in our own lane and we're basically in an untouched market of uninsured. It doesn't have value.
Last question, Hilton.
Okay, thanks. So we all intuitively understand that kind of care keeps these kind of patients out of the hospital. But once a hospital signs up and has a contract with you, how do they then know how many patients they would have had that they now don't have, and how do they continue to justify and make it an ROI case for them?
Great question. Am I allowed to use the slides or only speak?
No, you have about 15 seconds to answer.
Okay.
Though.
Yeah, so I mean, it's very simple. Every finance department in the hospital has a very simple breakdown of the payer breakdown. So they will go from the average of 10% of uninsured breakdown to hopefully 0% fraction of the uninsured payers.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Appreciate everybody's questions. Great presentation. And
Seed stage is next. Please raise your hand, Seed stage. Okay, Boris, we're bringing you in. Are you ready?
All right. 5 and 5, Boris.
All right, Boris, you got 5 and 5. You can share your screen when you're ready.
Whenever you're ready, Boris.
All right, can everyone see the screen?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, perfect. Hi, my name is Boris Gorstein. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Seed Stages. I'm really excited to share our story, which is now a great investment opportunity. So about a year ago, my co-founder Ian and Hopkinshall and I showed up back at the Claremont colleges where we were classmates about 12 years ago to study the complexity of startup hiring. We got 3 unique insights over a course of doing focus groups, surveys, secondary research, and being mentored by 2 professors who are now our advisors. 1, students absolutely want to get in touch with startup opportunities, but can't find them. 2, startups don't offer more opportunities to students due to limited resources. And 3, when startups finally invest in formal recruitment programs on campus, they still can't hire the best talent because big tech companies offer greater cash compensation. These are meaningful problems for startups. The #1 reason for falling behind on growth objectives is falling behind on hiring. I can tell you, being a proof of concept ourselves as a company, the only reason I'm presenting you today is because over the last 6 months, we brought on 80+ interns, which are now part of our team and helped us get our product to market. So how did we do it? We're connecting with students online. But what we had to do is hack existing platforms like LinkedIn and Handshake to figure out how to make it work for both parties. So for students, you gotta make it fun and convenient. We took process that usually takes 30 days and condensed it to 3 to 5 days. For startups, it's all about streamlining and integrating and reducing the number of steps so that fewer people can discover, interview, onboard, and manage more interns. In the middle, we're working on proprietary financial modeling to reimagine entry-level compensation. So we're actually gonna bring third-party cash so that startups can offer better compensation to best interns and transition them into teammates. So what does our product look like? On the left, you have our mobile app. It's in the App Store, Google and Apple as of about a month ago. It's fun, it's swipeable. The student lists the basic information about themselves, like their role, skill, university, graduation year. The startup lists the basic details of the opportunity. Is it remote or in person, paid or unpaid? How long is it gonna last? What's the role, what's the skills? We cut out the fluff so the parties can quickly connect, interview, and onboard. On the right is our imagined platform. It's already researched and wireframed. We can have the MVP done in about 3 months. It's gonna automate documentation processing, task assignment. It's gonna work with existing solutions startups use like Slack and Trello and so on to make it one seamless platform. Our product offering is unique from competition because we focus on startups and students. Again, being a proof of concept, I've interviewed personally over 300 students. What they appreciate is that we're actually looking for them. And startups appreciate when you don't waste their time. The competitors are overly generic and don't have the same demographic in mind. Also helps that we're mobile first. 50% of internet use has been online since 2016, even more true for younger people. We have marketing channels identified. We have some pilot programs in the works. We're looking for partners. On the left, you see what we have envisioned for startups. On the right, for students, and I can talk more about this during Q&A. Our team is our biggest asset. Our management team on top has been working together anywhere from 6 to 12 months, bootstrapping. We put a lot of effort into bringing together amazing advisors. Professor Immerman, who's a co-director of financial engineering program at CGU here in LA, is overseeing our compensation booster modeling. We have HR, talent, lawyer, entrepreneurs. I can talk more about this during Q&A. We have various revenue streams. Primarily, we make our money off of startups. Makes sense, we solve their pain point. But there's 3 things going on. We make money off of app subscriptions. We make money when there's a placement and you transition from being an intern and become a full-time employee. And we charge a per intern fee on the management platform. Our pricing is more frugal than any competitors, and there's a lot of room for growth with a placement fee. By end of year 3, we're cash flow positive. By end of year 5, close to 40 million in revenue. And the compensation booster will add another 100 million plus. Without it, we're still 30 million EBITDA positive by end of year 5. Green is what we've accomplished. Blue is what we're looking for pre-seed money for. And gold is seed round. So the investment opportunity is here before you to accomplish the goals on the right. Thank you for your time.
Boy, talk about perfect timing. That was excellent. Don Castle, Catherine, and then Barbara. Don?
Thank you. So the students that you have, are these after they've graduated, or I got the feeling that they're while they're still in school and serving as an intern, is that correct?
So there is a mix. Let me, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I don't want to go off on that tangent. Just wanted to be sure I was clear. All right, if they're in school now, to qualify, there either has to be educational opportunity that the school recognizes and accepts, or they have to be paid to be a qualified intern. How is the startup going to be able to afford to pay them in that regard? Are you just assuming that the startups they work for are going to have enough cash flow that they can pay them the minimum wage? So again, we know that there is labor law questions, but our understanding is, and we got counsel from our HR advisor with 20 years of experience and our attorney, that internships do not necessarily have to be weighed. It's a 7-factor analysis that's treated on case-on-case basis, basically.
Okay, thank you. And finally, am I correct that you have to go after different constituencies because you're trying to interrelate with students and get them as well as to get the company signed up. So that, am I correct in that that would require 2 different marketing strategies and 2 different sales strategies and so forth and so on, because you've got 2 totally different constituencies that you're dependent on?
We are definitely pursuing different channels to hit both demographics, but so far, even with without any funding, we have a lot of interest. We made our first 4 sales to startups, and we've only been trying to do it for 2 weeks. And we got 500 users in the first month in terms of students registering. So we have a few things in the works already, but you're correct. There's 2 different avenues we're pursuing.
Thank you. Good answer.
All right, Catherine, then Barbara.
Well, clearly there's a lot of demand on the student side, possibly a lot of demand on the startup side too. But the moment you start talking dollars, that's where the question comes in. Can you talk about, because you talked about placement, and I get that you may charge a low subscription up front to get people, onboarded, but startup companies with no money are going to be wanting to game the system. How do you assure yourself the placement fees?
All right, so the idea is that we know recruiters now charge startup recruiter fees of anywhere between $5,000 to $25,000. And what we're gonna do, we're actually gonna have the internship serve as a sort of a trial, and startups only hire the ones that maybe prove themselves for 3 months or maybe 6, or maybe over a course of a couple of years. So the placement is only charged when a startup chooses to convert an intern into a full-time hire, and our fees are gonna be lower than anything offered by competition. So we think we should be competitive.
Okey doke. Barbara, Minda?
Yeah, again, following up on Catherine, seems to be a theme of mine.
Yeah, Catherine's really good about this, setting you guys up.
Yeah, she's giving me all this fodder. So if 90% of startups fail, right, to Catherine's point and other people on this call, we're not going where the money is, right? The money is not going to be in startups, and it's certainly not going to be with college kids. So I saw in your plan that I happened to just review quickly while I was on the call, you're going to use some revenue upsells, right? And you're hoping that there's some promotional fees coming out of this. If you do assume that 90% of startups fail, you're only going to get paid when those students get hired, the interns get hired, other than using some kind of not rev share, I guess, as much as maybe some advertising fees. I mean, how do you solve for this horrible situation, 90% of companies failing?
So again, it takes a while for the companies to decide that they're failing, and one of the main reasons they fail is because they're not funded well enough to keep up with operational needs and can't keep up with hiring. So we believe even for early stage startups, we become really the best alternative to hiring people, supplementing their operations with interns. And then those that do not fail, our compensation booster is going to swap equity for cash, and that's where we see the value long term. So as the 10% of startups who don't fail keep going, we're going to become their HR partner.
All right, we're out of time, unfortunately. Sorry about any other questions that might come up. Please take out your computer and our app and vote.
All right. Next person in line, it's team capacity. Please raise your hand. Okay, David. All right, David, we are bringing you in. Please be ready to share your screen.
Uh-huh.
Not you, David, of course.
No, I understand that part.
Minda, you should raise your hand first because you keep getting cut off.
Yeah, Minda, for all you guys who haven't figured it out,
So slow on the draw.
But as soon as David starts talking, raise your hand.
It's like Jeopardy.
And the best thing to do is go right after Catherine, by the way, just to let you know. Then you can say like everyone else has said, Catherine raised a good question, let me follow on. It just works like that.
All right. Go for it, David. Unmute.
5 and 5, David. Don't hear you.
Yeah, I asked him to unmute. He hasn't unmuted yet.
Sorry about that. Hi, I'm David Karandish, CEO and co-founder of Capacity. Our mission at Capacity is to help teams do their best work. What we've figured out is that support costs are skyrocketing at our clients. As the world's changed, remote work has gone up, customer expectations have gone up, and everybody has less support staff to deal with these changing expectations. We believe that AI is the only way for companies to scale non-linearly. To simply put, Capacity is disrupting the help desk market by using artificial intelligence to automate support. We sit at the intersection of two exciting markets, one on global help desk automation, which will be 11 billion by 2023, as well as the AI software market, which will be 126 billion by 2025. The one thing I'll point out is that when I started a couple of years ago, the AI market was expected to be 60 billion by 2025. So it's doubled just in the last couple of years. All of this is accelerating post-COVID. I'm not going to turn this into a political conversation, but no matter what side of the aisle you're on, everyone's talking about how AI and automation are taking over. In terms of the competitive landscape, we sit right in the middle of this giant hole in the market between Zendesk and ServiceNow. Zendesk has a very self-serve offering. ServiceNow is $460,000 a year, very powerful, but very painful to use. We think that there's an opportunity to bring a ServiceNow-like product suite into a Zendesk-like market. Now, when we think about our typical user, we've named this persona Colette. She's frustrated, burnt out, and uses a lot of outdated tools to answer the same questions over and over again. We want to turn her into that superhero support agent who loves her job because she gets to help people with the tough stuff. Now, when we think about all the pieces of Colette's job that we want to help automate, you've got a place to store those frequently asked questions. Otherwise, they're going to land on her desk. You want to give her the ability to upload and search documents, author content, place it on her support website, triage and direct where a question should go, jump directly into a conversation with an internal or external customer, connect to key systems she uses like email, CRM, and even her own proprietary apps, and then finally automate the processes she does over and over again, like setting up an account. Now, you might be able to find a point solution that can do any one of these boxes, but we firmly believe that the modern help desk should be a suite that encompasses it all. FAQs, Cloud Drive, articles, conversations, live chat, apps, developer platform, and your workflows all in one place. Now, how does this work in practice? On the left, we've got either Connie, the consumer, or Emily, the employee. Instead of sending their message into Colette, they'll send their message into Capacity. Capacity will come back and answer that question 84% of the time by pulling from any one of these sources. Now, we, of course, love to talk about how great our AI is and how amazing our technology is, but we also recognize that even the best technology is going to still need to bring a human in the loop some of the time. So if Capacity doesn't know the answer, we'll send it to Colette and her team, where she can jump in either via live chat or via ticketing. But when we do that, we'll actually teach Capacity to learn the answer to that for next time. We've got 3 parts to the system. We kind of break it down. Part 1 is our AI-enabled chat knowledge base. You ask your question, you get an instant answer back. Part 2 is our workflow automation. This is where we take pieces of your software, we string it together in a workflow, we start automating behind the scenes. And then again, anything that can't be automated goes to our help desk in the middle. In terms of our learning, we've got kind of 3 components. Natural language processing ensures you don't have to type in your query just right. We can handle your acronyms and typos and variants. Second part is around machine learning, mining information out of your documents. We actually have a patent pending on the ability to pull Q&A out and store that. And then finally, our AI itself, the more questions you throw at it, the smarter it gets over time. Our conversion rates have continued to improve as our product has improved. When we started, we were closing about 5% of our opportunities into sales. Now it's up over 15%. Customers love what we're doing because we're reducing the calls going into their call center while increasing their customer sat scores. We're working with some of the best brands in the industry. My favorite slide is this next one I'm going to show you here. It's our land and expand. We've proven out that we could land a client with an initial pilot and come in and expand not at renewal, but before the renewal is up. And so it's a really nice thing to see even this early on in our progress. From an ARR perspective, we were doing around 800K, 700K of ARR this time last year. We've tripled year over year, and we're on a tear. We'll be at over 3 million by the end of this year, doubling to 6 million next year, and then doubling, roughly doubling again the following. 2-year average term length, power of the SaaS business model. We land these clients with multi-year deals, turns into a recurring revenue stream. Lastly, we're looking for credit investors, family offices, and corporate investment arms. Goals to raise up to 25 million. We've raised 12.5 so far. We're doing all the standard tag along, drag along, pro rata, etc. Last, this is not my first rodeo. This is my 8th startup. First 6 failed. 7th one we grew to 250 million in revenue before we sold it to a private equity firm. And I'm super excited to be able to work with some of the same team that I worked with in my previous ventures. Thank you all for taking the time out. Look forward to questions.
Good timing again. Perfect. All right. And of course, starting it off is Catherine and then Minda right after Catherine.
I'm actually curious about the corporate governance. It looks like it's an LLC. Is that correct? You're doing a unit offering. I don't know what that means. Maybe you can talk about both of them.
We are an LLC. That is correct.
Okay. Talk about your corporate governance, please.
Yeah, so we've got a series of advisors that include the chairman of Bowers & Wilkins, the former chief business officer from Interactive Intelligence, which got acquired by Genesis a couple years ago, as well as a couple other SaaS industry executives.
How many people?
We've got 5 plus myself.
6 people. How many insiders?
2 insiders.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
All right, Minda, and then Don.
I'm curious a little bit about your product roadmap and the competitive landscape. How are you better than Zendesk?
Yeah,
Why wouldn't, and are you replacing Zendesk? Is that the traditional, are you in the pathway?
Yeah, great question. So we can both complement an existing Zendesk implementation, so we can work around your existing Zendesk implementation in terms of our workflows and our chatbot, but we can also replace it. We just won a deal this week where the customer using Zendesk who said, hey, we also want chat functionality, we want workflows, we want to integrate with all these apps. And so it was a very easy migration for them to move over to our platform.
So that whole platform slide that you have with all the different boxes and everything, you've got all that built to some degree, or at least a V1 of all those boxes?
Yeah, so we have everything, I'll jump back here just a second. We have everything on here except our articles piece. That part is coming out in Q4, Q1, but everything else on here is live, available within our clients.
All right, Don and then Sanjay.
Help me understand and justify $125 million pre-money valuation.
Yeah, so again, we're going to be at 3 million of ARR this year, 6 million next year, and we'll go to somewhere 10 to 12 the following. We'll get to 100 million in annual recurring revenue by 2026. In the market we're in, that will lead to a 10 to 15x exit multiple. And so at $150 million today, we're hoping to get you 7 to 10 times in a either public offering or some kind of private transaction. The other thing that's baked in that valuation is there's some risk reduction from the fact that my last company, which I co-founded with my co-founder here, we went from 0 to 250 million in revenue before we sold it to a private equity firm. And so we've had a path of success of having done this before.
All right, Sanjay and then Benton.
Yeah, how big is the R&D team today? Who are the main players there, if you can elaborate on that?
Yeah, so we've got about mid-50s of team members, and about 30 of which are in product and development. So we're very, very heavy devs. We've got a lot of, I'm an engineer by background, computer science undergrad. I'm not coding actively for this, but it's a very engineering-centric organization.
And are you the CTO as well?
No, we have a director of engineering and who leads all of our engineering efforts.
Right, and Benton, I think you have the last question.
Okay, I'll make it quick. What is your IP strategy?
Yeah, so we've got a couple different parts that we've, one that we submitted for patenting around document mining. We have a couple other pieces that we are looking at submitting some patent protection going into the new year. But specifically, our whole idea is that we want to be able to make it so that you can ask any question to any document, to any data source in your company and get an instant response. And so we actually have a couple of different IP related plays. We're not looking at doing IP offensively. We want to do it defensively, but we do think it's going to build some long-term value over time.
All right, we can squeeze in Barbara if it's a really short question and even a shorter answer.
It's actually long, but I'll get, it was a great presentation.
The classic comic book version, the short one.
You know what, I've seen a lot of companies that are doing this. I mean, you guys obviously are crushing it, but is there one little thing you can tell us that differentiates you? Your competitive analysis just didn't seem to reflect a lot of the companies that are attacking exactly this problem.
Yeah, so our big finding was that you can pay lots of money to the big guys and spend a year in implementation, or you can buy a point solution that comes out of the box that doesn't do what you need. And so we are bridging the gap by bringing an enterprise solution for that next kind of mid-market segment, which is why on that customer slide, you saw a lot of like mid-market financial services firms in our customer base.
Got it. Thank you. By the way, just to let you know, ServiceNow, which I'm invested in, is $100 billion capitalization on a $4 billion revenue stream.
We'd be happy to be one.
All right. We lost you, JJ, can't hear you.
Okay, I was muted, sorry. So team capacity is next. Team capacity, raise your hand.
Wasn't that the one we just listened to?
Oh, no, I thought that was, yeah, no, you're right. That was it. Okay, I think next is Timmy.
And is this the last one?
No, there's one more right after that.
Got it.
Timmy,
Right.
thank you. All right, Lil, whenever you're ready, share your screen and you can start speaking.
And let us know when you're starting so we can give you your 5 minutes of fame. Is he there?
Lil, are you there? Let's see, I don't see her. I'll try again.
I'm here.
Okay, here you go.
Hey, Lil.
I'm just gonna prep my screen right now.
Hi.
Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yep, take it away.
And hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. Hi, I'm Lily, founder of and CEO of Timmy. Parents spend $23 billion a year on children after school activities. Yet, as a tennis academy manager, I was losing about $50,000 a year on administrative tasks and also wasting about 8 hours a week on administrative work, such as creating classes, chasing payments, marketing, communicating with parents. I had friends that are also tennis directors, Lisa, Craig, and Aaron, they had the same issue. So we thought we had to find a solution. Unfortunately, many of those directors were still using spreadsheets or antiquated systems that were really hard to use, or some of the systems that were available were not proactive at helping academies, and many of those had features that you don't even need, or they did not help them create or bring more, create more revenue or bring more clients. So we created Timmy. What we're not is an ERP system or a facilities management system that is bulky or hard to use. We are an intelligent sports registration and management system that uses machine learning, automation, and voice command to help clients reduce their administrative work by 80%, that anticipates what they're going to need. If they need to send an email, a reminder, or a birthday card, that system will think ahead for those academy directors and actually do those tasks for them. So it's not just a system that sits there and doesn't do anything if you don't do anything. It thinks for you and it seeks to become your intelligent personal assistant using all that technology. With the marketplace, we're going to help them get more clients, and they can also grow their revenues by over 80%, by over 20%. We have a back-end side where they will be able to set up their services, and we also have a beautiful front-end side where parents will be able to book those services. The market is actually quite promising, with $23 billion is being spent on after-school providers. That includes sports and arts and crafts, but we're going to go and narrow it down to our to $9 billion, which will be our serviceable market. And we will attack with tennis because that's where my expertise is. And that is tennis instruction it's at about $322 million right now. So that's what we're going to start with. We actually had a beta called Track My Tennis. That had over 670 coaches signed up on the platform, over 9,000 students registered, and we processed over $5 million. And the directors that used the system saw an increase in revenue of over 20% and really liked how flexible and easy it was to use the system. And parents loved it as well. We have an experienced team of me with some experience in tennis and academy management. Our CTO has deployed many other software before, and our CFO has also experience in managing large and small firms, also some experience in Fortune 500 companies. We also have some advisors at TCA. Our target customers are academies with at least 50 active students with revenues of up to $2 million a year. And our notable clients include the Newport Beach Tennis Club and some academies in Hong Kong. Our initial target market is tennis academies. So the way to get to them, we have a list of almost all the academies in the US. So we're going to try to reach them through direct email marketing with 7 to 12 touches to get them to sign up. Next, we'll have our affiliate plan, and then next, we're going to have some strategic partnerships. Our business model, we are currently in revenue, even though we have not officially launched. We have about 30 academies signed up. Our MRR is $2,800, and our average revenue per client is $1,200 per client per month. We make money two ways, really. Our premium plan is $1 per student per month, up to $199. And we also make money on revenues from credit card transactions through the system, about 1 to 1.5%.
30 seconds.
When the marketplace is launched, we're going to make 10% of that. Our revenues actually look quite promising, with being cash flow positive by year 2, and we stand to have an ARR of $25 million by year 5. We seek $300,000 on a $3 million valuation, and the funds will be used to add more technology and invest in sales and marketing. So Timmy is a promising system that will help academies grab a bigger slice of that $9 billion pie. Thank you.
All right, good timing, good presentation, Lily. All right, we have in our box. Wait, Minda's up #1 this time, and Catherine's #2. We have a change of position of the leaderboard. Only kidding, but Minda, go ahead.
Yes, absolutely. So I just want to know a little bit more about the marketplace strategy, because it seems like a really different approach than what the other system would be, which is that you could sell that system in Hong Kong, but are you going to have a Hong Kong marketplace then for kids activities and another one in San Diego? And those are all very hyper local. And I'm also wondering how compatible your tennis academy system is with what other registrants might do. So I guess the marketplace strategy seems a little bit sort of, I don't understand how how what you're doing extends into that. So if you could explain.
Sure. So we are working in phases, and what we wanted to do is to start with a system that will help you really manage your programs. And then the way we're going to expand into the marketplace is locally. We're going to start in Orange County. So we're going to start with trying to get tennis clubs in Orange County, gymnastics, swimming. So we're going to start geographically and then grow into California, the US, and to Hong Kong. So we are not at the marketplace yet because we're really just focusing on having a really solid, robust system. But when we do get to that place, it's going to be geographically the way we expand to that.
Okay, Catherine and then Jay.
Sorry, I have 2 questions which are actually somewhat not related. The first one is, Track My Tennis seems like it was a successful business. What happened to it, and is it incorporated into what you're doing now, or why aren't you continuing that? The second question is AI. In what way are you deploying it, and how is it adding value, and where do you get your training data?
Got it. Okay, so the first question, Track My Tennis was actually successful at proving the concept. Unfortunately, the technology on which it was built wasn't very sustainable and didn't allow it to scale. Moreover, I had some friends who had cooking classes or yoga classes and wanted to use a system, but they wouldn't use it because it says tennis. So we really had to go with something a little more generic, a little more flexible that can fit the needs of tennis, but also other sports and other activities.
So does Timmy incorporate Track My Tennis in terms of the customer?
Yes. A lot of the Track My Tennis customers move over to Timmy once we switched over, once we developed the brand new platform.
Okay, machine learning,
Yeah.
please.
Machine learning, yes. So again, one of the reasons why we had to move to Timmy is because the TMT Track My Tennis platform did not allow for machine learning. So the goal is to be able to study how much are you charging for your classes? How soon are you putting your registration out there? Is that giving you the best registration rate? Because what we found is if you publish your registrations maybe 6 weeks in advance, you get a lot more registration than if you do only 2 weeks in advance. So the goal with machine learning is to learn how your system is, how often you're providing that information, and also how the people around you are providing that information, and tell you, hey, you need to set up your programs right now, otherwise you might lose some money. Or you need to send this email right now, otherwise you might lose the customer. So it's really just picking up data off the current people that we have. So that one is still in the works as well.
Thank you.
All right, Jay and then Greg.
Yeah, quick question. I'm trying, you say you've got 20 paying customers now, and your MRR is 2,800. And on a previous slide, you said your average customer is paying you $1,200 a month, and I was trying to understand that math.
Sure. So we have the MRR here. So we have the total revenue, and then we divided that by the number of clients. So was about $25,000, and we divided that by the number of clients in general. And then we also had the.
So your MRR is 25,000, not 2,800.
It's 2,800. I just rounded it up. It is $2,800 for that. And then the average revenue per month is, if in a particular month we had, I guess 12. So essentially we took out how much we made each month and we divided by the 20 clients that we had.
Okay,
So
I guess I still don't understand the math, but why don't we move on?
All right, Greg.
Yeah, can you please take us through the barriers to entry for other competitors? And if you have those barriers like IP, please describe it.
Right now, we do not have any IP filed or anything like that because we're using an integration of different systems. So we really only have a trademark. But as we continue to grow, again, we're still building our machine learning capabilities and algorithm. So as we continue to grow, we're going to look to see if something can be patented. But from what I've heard from different advisors, it's quite hard to have a patent on software, but we're going to be working on that and see what we can provide. But what we're really trying to do is to, out of all the competitors that I've studied, which was about 15, none of them is really thinking about a system that works for you. They just have a system that you use, but they're not really using machine learning. They're not using automation. They're not really trying to take the data to give you more value. They just give you a system. If you don't use it, it doesn't provide you any extra value. We're trying to change that and change the way that industry works.
Okay, well, that's about it. No more questions. Over to you, JJ.
Thank you, Lil, very much. All right, we will move on to the next, and the next is the last one, which is Zipper HQ. All right, Zipper HQ, please raise your hand. All right, Deepankar, here we go.
And you'll have 5 minutes and 5 minutes Q&A. Are you online?
Deepankar, when you're ready.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Share your screen, please.
Okay.
There we go. All right, take it away.
I'm just going to move this to the side. All right.
Ready?
Ready.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon. I'm Dipankar Niyogi, CEO and founder of Zipper HQ, the fastest way to personalize customer conversation at scale. So what did you do when you woke up this morning? Well, let me tell you what I did is I reached for my phone. I skimmed through my email, my social media messages, and my text messages. I did all of this while the surrounding environment was demanding. My dog was barking. My son wanted to know more about LeBron James and his big win. And my wife was trying to get the coffee going. Out of all of this, what do I remember? Well, what I remember is a message that was personalized, that had a face and an emotion connected to it. And so in today's day, the big problem is everyone is busy. People are skimming through, scanning, and deleting messages, but they remember messages that are memorable, personalized, and that has a face and an emotion connected with it. So typically, emails that have video messages embedded in it have a 300% more engagement rate, and videos generate over 66% more in leads. So what is the problem? So the problem is that when we try to deliver personalized video messages, the systems are disconnected and complex. So you have to record a video, you have to upload it to YouTube or a system like Vidyard. Then you have to create your link and your images, compose your message, get the content, and then once you send it out, you're not sure whether somebody watched it or not, because a click open rate doesn't mean that they actually watched it. They could have opened the email, deleted it, and all you know is that they opened the email. It can take over 60 minutes to do any of these activities. Zipper HQ solves this problem. It is the fastest way to manage your personalized message, where you can record or upload a video. You can then compose and use our content that is based on industry specific templates. Then you can send it, and then it tracks the video. It not only tracks the open rate, the click rate, but it's actually how much video somebody watched and how much they are engaging with your content. All of this under 5 minutes. So it's almost real time. It is easy to onboard and gives almost immediate feedback and increases your close rate. Let's take an example of a wealth manager. It's a relationship-based business. A wealth manager wants to send a market update. They can quickly record their message, combine it with their branding, and then once they send it out, they can watch their clients engage. They can click on call to action. They can set up a meeting through Calendly right on the micro site that we create. And all of this enables also automated follow-up to continue to build stronger relationship and build a better business. So Zipper HQ market is quite vast. We are looking at small, medium businesses, both in vertical markets like real estate, mortgage, insurance, health and fitness, but also teams like inside sales, marketing teams, and customer support. So the addressable market is small, medium businesses. We are looking at a total TAM of about 9 billion. Our goal is to get 0.5 to 1% of this market, which gets us to about 50 to 90 million in revenue with about 500,000 users. As a reference, MailChimp has 12 million users, 700 million in revenue. From a competitive landscape, the real value that we are providing is by pulling together the key components that make it very easy for small businesses that don't have time to put together personalized video message, which includes industry-specific content, being able to quickly and automatically host the video and create a automated website along with it, and then distribute it. And then behind this, provide fine-grained video analytics as well as automated nurturing, so that the nurturing happens automatically and follow-up happens automatically, along with intelligent call to action like chatbots or embedded calendar for booking appointments. I'm backed by a strong team. I myself have been part of 4 venture-backed startups. All of them have had successful exits, and either as an early member or as a founder. And I was chief architect at Intuit. I built the first software switch that replaced the digital switch. I built the first CDN before Akamai, and I also automated income tax processing using machine learning and artificial intelligence. And I'm backed by a team, Bob A. Davis on a board with 9 years as a board member of Constant Contact, and an experienced team with CTO, marketing, and customer success. Our financial model is to get, it's a freemium business model. Goal is to get to 1.5 million in ARR next year. We'll be doing 425,000 in revenue this year. Our go-to-market strategy is we have customers in the real estate market.
I need to finish up.
Okay. So I'm basically looking to raise 1.5 million in equity at 5.5 million valuation, which will get us to 18 plus months in run rate and achieve 1.5 million in ARR 2021, and then tripling the next 2 years.
Got it. Perfect. All right. Well, we're back to the number one slide, Catherine. You have the first question, and then Sanjay right after.
I can't disappoint you.
I know you're not. Definitely not. Go for it.
All right. I have two questions. Why is Loom not part of your competitive analysis, number one? And number two, who are your customers, and what is the retention and upsell?
So let me understand. The first question was, why is Loom not part of this? So what Loom is, if I look at this example here, what Loom is doing is allowing you to record a video and basically make it as a link available. But what they don't do is do the distribution. They don't do the call to action and other automatic nurturing. So there's no drip campaign built behind it. So as a small medium business, I can get a link, but then I have to use that link, put it into my MailChimp campaign. And then after that, I have to follow up separately on MailChimp and separately on Loom. We bring it all together so that it's a mobile app. All you do is record, you send, and you analyze, and behind the scene, all the drip campaign and automation happens. So Loom would be very similar, I would say, to Vidyard. So it falls in the same category. But what we are doing is going deeper on making it simple and easy for a small business to quickly send out campaign without having to worry about how do I embed it in a different system and then distribute it. So the distribution is built into our product. Second question was, let me try to remember.
Customer retention and upsell experience.
Right. Yeah, so we actually started off in the real estate market, and that's where the product was discovered. So I'll just show you a screen about how we started. So we started as in
Try
the
to
real
make the
estate
answer
market.
short, Dipankar, because I want to get more questions in.
Yeah, so in real estate market, there is been, our churn is about 5% in the market right now, which is in the real estate space. In the video space, we are just launching this product.
5% per month?
Beta testing with our existing customers.
Per year.
Could you repeat the question? Sorry.
Churn is 5% per month or per year?
In real estate, it is 5% per
Churn.
month, per year.
Okay. All right, let's go to Sanjay and then Don.
Sanjay, unmute.
I lost him. Sanjay or Don, pop in.
Okay, so this is a special app that you have to download. I'm trying to understand for the real small business what they have to do different from what they currently are. And for the user, can you just get this through your normal ISP, or do you have to set up special email system or whatnot?
Yeah, you don't have to do anything. You can integrate your email, but we already built in an email campaign system, which we have today in our current product. You just download the app from the mobile app and you sign up on our website, and you can.
Then do I send everything out? Do I send everything out through that mobile app if I want to do a video type thing?
Yeah, so you can do it right inside our product, or if you have already videos that are recorded on your phone, you can just upload. And
when I send those out, am I sending them out under my current email address and so forth?
You can send it through your current email address, but suppose you want to send it out to 50,000 people, you would send it through our system using our SendGrid mechanism. Yeah.
Okay, and finally,
so we support both.
What's the difference between the premium and the freemium?
So the freemium, the freemium is to get people started, but it has limits on number of contacts like MailChimp has. It has limits on number of videos. If you want to go to 1,000 video, then you move to a paid plan. If you want to go to 5,000 contacts, you move to the paid plan.
Thank you.
All right, Sanjay, we'll pick you up again if you're there, then Minda.
Yes, I'm here. So the name of the game is personalized communication, and you just mentioned sending out 50,000 messages.
Yeah.
How do you really personalize it? Over here in our event, we have 31 panelists. Let's say if I wanted to personalize message to each one of them, including Catherine, JJ here, Daniel, Dawn, right? So
yeah,
is it like, are you going to take my verbal cues and say, hey, Dawn, what's going on? Or what is it? Are you putting AI into this? What are you doing?
Yeah, there are two parts to it. So the first part is the fact that one-on-one personalized communication is very easy just in the mobile app. When you want to send out to 5,000, 10,000, that's when we will actually be taking your video, combining it with additional information to, for example, make an introduction. There would be like, say, for example, there could be an introduction that says, hi, Sanjay, hi, David, which is very similar to how we have replacement of so-called tags when we are sending out large campaign. So we are building that inside our engine.
All right, well, we're out of time, unfortunately.
Oh, Minda, we stopped at Minda again. Let's have her ask a question.
Okay, Minda, go ahead. JJ, the boss.
You guys are great to let me in. I just really wanted to kind of drill down a little bit on the customer and how you're segmenting. When you say small and medium businesses and these small enterprise, it sounds very sort of like a fragmented market. How are you going after it?
So our approach is very similar to MailChimp, which is the fact that, anybody who's trying to do a campaign, for example, marketing team, or within a sales team that's trying to, let's say you just had a sales meeting, you want to send a thank you note, you'll send it right quickly through our system by just recording and sending.
Yeah, but how are they going to find out about you? How are they going to learn that you guys exist? Like we all know that MailChimp exists now because they bought like Super Bowl ads.
Yeah, so with us, we already have the real estate market. We have been in that market for 2+ years, and we have several customers. So our goal is first to go after the real estate market. We know how to go after it. We have the list of people. We have come to our trade shows. So we have over 100,000 names of real estate agents in our database that we have been in touch with. So that's our first market. That's where we want to go and build our first year business. At the same time, we are starting to go through social media platform. We are starting to access certain small business groups. So
how are you finding that your own product sells your product?
Right. So a lot of the campaign that we'll be doing is actually using our own software. So we send out campaigns using our own software, which saves us a lot of money because otherwise, we will be paying a lot of money to MailChimp to send out large campaigns. Right. And we have a list that we have generated through trade shows over the last 2 years. Unfortunately, in the last 6 months, we have not been able to go to any trade show, and I don't know when we will go next. So our business had to change significantly from trade shows where real estate agents want to meet you to a place where now everything is digital.
All right.
Which is something that I did at Intuit quite successfully. So that's what I'm repeating.
We're out of time, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, that was the last one. So if for some reason you have not evaluated any, please evaluate them right now. And then we will have a winner because this is the B2B. So we will know which one won today. So we'll make an announcement tomorrow morning after we tally the numbers and I do spreadsheets and other stuff. No, not really.
Well, JJ, I have to go out and collect these ballot boxes, and I'm offering $200 for each one. So I'm harvesting.
There you go. Is it only one mailbox in the entire county?
There's only one mailbox, and it's right outside my window.
All right.
Just want to let you know.
All right.
This is, again, not Chicago. We can't vote early vote often, but I can vote all those ballots you don't want to have. If anyone has an idea.
David, thank you very much for keeping everybody on track. Thank you all for being here.
Yeah. Thanks, Sanjay.
JJ, put the link out on the voting. Put the link on the chat.
I sent you an email this morning at 8:30 with all the links for every one of the companies.
Okay.
You should look at that. I sent it right after you emailed me, John. I sent you an email with every one of the companies. So
Okay.
I can resend it again to you.
No, I'll find it. I'll find it.
Hey, first of all, everybody, thank you very much for participating on behalf of JJ, Stephen, and I. I mean, JJ's,
thank you.
Thing, but, you've all been great. Questions have been superb. And we hope you stay well, be well. We'll see you on the next Pismo venture, competition next week.
So it's tomorrow. If you're on the B2C,
week,
it is tomorrow. And then we have 2 life sciences on Friday, on Thursday and Friday. Thank you so much.
See you guys.
Thanks a lot.
Later.
Bye.
Yeah, thanks.